I think there's exciting news as of right now when it comes to XDC. And what is that? Not too long ago, XDC made a post on X and it said that they're excited to share how XDC is now listed on Binance US. I think it's a big victory because we combine XDC's amazing fundamentals, the pretty good fan base, the passionate and dedicated community. Now we add Binance US on top of that. Man, I think that's a major victory actually, especially if we ever do see a fully fledged type of altcoin season this cycle. This could really matter because we take a look at how many projects out there in the past, they have benefited greatly from being listed on Binance, right? Especially during a fully fledged type of altcoin season. It doesn't guarantee they're going to do good, but then if I see what XDC did historically speaking, and then let's say now we have this aspect, this could be a total game changer if let's say we do ever see a fully fledged type of altcoin season because pretty much when people think about exchanges, they think about Binance, right? So then this is why I think something like this is very exciting. Even though nothing I say is financial advice, a dollar when it comes to XDC, that would not surprise me whatsoever, especially now that XDC has more exposure. But even besides all that, there's no guarantees. I do not know the future. But then I do like the fundamentals of XDC, and I think this could very well elevate it to hypothetically good levels if there is a fully fledged type of altcoin season. And let me explain why. Because when it comes to the XDC network, it's an enterprise grade blockchain protocol that is purpose built for global trade and finance. Why does this even matter? It's because the global trade and finance market is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. So that's pretty massive. Not to mention, XDC is often regarded to be this kind of like miniature version, so to speak, of XLM and XRP. And then, at the price of a dollar, considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point would be around $16 billion. I get it's around a 10x from here, but that market cap right there doesn't seem that unrealistic, especially when we consider how XRP, the market cap is well beyond 100 billion. And also, we've seen Dogecoin reach over $80 billion in market cap back in 2021. This doesn't seem that ridiculous to me. Now, when people like to say, okay, around a 10x, that seems kind of bad. Well, I disagree with that. In my perspective, I cannot speak on anyone's behalf because if let's say I take a look at Bitcoin or Ethereum, what are they going to do during this cycle? Some people are saying Bitcoin 300 grand, some people are saying Ethereum 10 grand. But for both cases, Ethereum reaching 10 grand, less than a 3x from here, Bitcoin reaching 300 grand, that's also less than a 3x from here. So in both cases, again, less than a 3x. I compare that to maybe a 10x. There's no guarantees. But I don't know why I would choose Bitcoin or Ethereum instead of XDC if I only had those three options. I'm not only just holding XDC, by the way, but if someone asked me, right, XDC, Bitcoin, or Ethereum, I cannot speak on anyone's behalf, but in my case, I would have to choose XDC in that instance because we have to take a look at the XDC protocol, which powers the XDC network. The XDC protocol has an aspect of something called ISO 20022. What is that? That is currently being used by many financial institutions from all around the world for something called inter-organizational data exchange. So having that aspect really matters. If I want to use some examples out there that has that aspect, I'll name a few. Ripple, Stellar, we also take a look at Algorand. If let's say we do see that next leg up, I want to be prepared by just holding and just waiting. Altcoins usually, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event. The last Bitcoin halving event happened in April of last year. I had 18 months on top of that. That's around October this year. There's no guarantee it's going to happen this time around during the cycle because I think each cycle is going to be different. But then at the same time, if let's say it ever does happen and let's say it maybe happens near the end of this year or somewhere around Q1 of next year, whatever the case may be, I just want to be holding and just waiting. And I think if anything, that historical example right there may very well showcase to me that if we do ever see an altcoin season, I feel like maybe it's not that far away, historically speaking, as a worst case scenario. However, I do not know the future. I can only stay patient, and that's pretty much it. And why would I not stay patient though? Because there's over 600 million crypto owners currently, allegedly, which is more than ever before in history. Back in the peak of the 2021 bull run, around 300 million crypto owners. Again, that was at the peak. We have way more crypto owners as of right now. How will that translate to a fully fledged type of altcoin season? I'll have to wait and see, but then if let's say the altcoin season looked better than before, that would not surprise me. But again, there is no telling what's going to happen during this cycle. At least I cannot. I can only stay patient and just wait. And the idea of a dollar, when it comes to XDC, that's still on my mind. But even besides that, I'm just staying patient. And overall, I do like what I'm seeing when it comes to the Binance news. And also, some people like to ask me, okay, why don't I pull up a price chart and draw some random triangles? Because to me, that doesn't really do much benefit, in my opinion, at least in my perspective. Because if, let's say, I pulled up a price chart and I drew a random triangle, is the market going to care? Is the market going to listen to what I have to do? Or should I say pay attention? Let me correct myself there. No, I don't think it would care. The price of XDC is not going to do anything based on what I do on that price chart. So why would I do that? I see some people out there, they make a video, they pull up a price chart, they draw some random triangle, and they're like, oh, it's going to do this at this time. Then suddenly it doesn't, and they just adjust it more. And then let's say it still doesn't do that, they adjust it a little bit more. What's the point? At that point, I'm just drawing. I don't want to do that. I'd rather focus on the news, focus on the fundamentals, and just take a look at the landscape when it comes to XDC. Keep in mind, I don't think XDC has that many competitors to begin with. The reason why I say that is because if we take a look at Ripple and Stellar, XDC is not really competing with that in the direct sense because it's never overtaking that. Let's take a look at its other options within this space. There's XCN, there's SwiftCoin, there's XPR, there's also something called ZBCN. That's pretty much four other than XDC if we remove Ripple and Stellar. How is that much? And XDC is often regarded to kind of like the number 3 within this space behind Ripple and Stellar. So then, the way you take a look at it is that XDC doesn't have that many reputable competitors. We see the Binance US news. This is something I'm going to stay patient with in my perspective. I'm not telling anyone to do anything when it comes to XDC, by the way, but I'm staying patient, dollar cost averaging, and that's pretty much it. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.